Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Allie, and today's video is about the differences that I've noticed between New Zealand and the United States. I have recently moved here from the United States, actually back last July, so about half a year now, so I'm super excited about that. I've noticed a lot of differences actually between here and the US. I lived in the US my whole life prior, and I came from Oregon, just so everybody knows. West Coast girl over here. Um, so when we first moved here, we were actually staying in a hotel for a couple weeks because we had to find a rental home. And just in those couple weeks, I mean, even in the first day, we noticed so many differences. It was crazy. And so today I'm going to talk about the top 5 differences, and then after that I'm going to give some words that are different, like they have different words for vegetables and just some random things like convenience stores I thought I'd share. It's kind of cool. So anyways, I'll get into it. Um the first major difference that I noticed was that there's no dryers here, or very, very few. Um, there was a dryer at the hotel, but it was like $5 per load. And then when we got into the rental house, there was no hookup for a dryer. So most everybody hangs up all their clothes outside on clothing lines, which I thought was pretty cool. It's different. Back in the States, everybody has dryers, and especially Oregon. I mean, the weather's so bad, you wouldn't ever be able to hang your clothes out outside. They'd always get wet or gross and whatever. So I thought that was pretty cool. The other difference is that it gets really, really dark outside at night. Um, you can see the stars really well, but other than that, it's like pitch black. Your room is totally dark. I mean, outside is totally dark. You can't hardly see anything. And it's really different from where I grew up in the States. Out of forest, so I guess it's darker than most states, but it's still pretty bright outside. And I was living in Salem, so it's a city. It was pretty bright outside. It never got fully dark. Like you could walk around and still see things, and street lights were turned on and everything. But here in New Zealand, it is black, like darkness completely. Another one that I thought was really interesting and we noticed right away was that people here walk around barefoot. They go into stores barefoot, they go into restaurants barefoot. If you have muddy shoes, it's actually customary to take your shoes off and walk in just in your socks or barefoot. So I thought that was really cool. Like we went to the library and there's just several pairs of muddy boots out up by the front door and a bunch of guys walking around in their socks. So that's different, and I thought that was pretty cool. And you know, it's nice for the business too, because then they don't have to clean up mud everywhere or dirt everywhere, and so it's nice. And then another one is there's tons of sheep. Like I know everybody who makes these videos say there's tons of sheep, and you're like, okay, I get it, there's sheep, but literally there's tons of sheep. If there's like any plot of land that's strictly grass, there's at least a sheep on it. In the city, out in the country, along roads, everywhere. There's always sheep. And I just thought that was pretty funny. Like, they always say in some of the videos that there's like 2 or 3 sheep per human here in New Zealand. And now that I'm here, I totally have to agree with that. It's pretty funny. And then the last difference I want to talk about today is that here in New Zealand, they have tea time. They have morning tea and afternoon tea. It's just kind of like your break, except they don't call it a break. They call it morning tea or afternoon tea, depending. And I thought that was pretty cool. I was actually visiting a family and they had afternoon tea and they brought out tea, coffee, biscuits, which are cookies, and some other desserts. And they do that every day, which I think is kind of cool. Here in New Zealand, people really like their sweets. They call candy lollies, and they just have tons of it. They're really into gummies and like dessert bars. They have raspberry dessert bars, caramel, peppermint, just tons of them. They really, really love them. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And some words that I want to talk about today that are different are one of them is zucchini. In the States, we say zucchini, but here in New Zealand, they call them courgettes, which is totally different. Somebody was saying that to me, and I'm like, what? What is that? And when we say zucchini to them, they're like, what? So it's pretty funny. We went to a party just recently for New Year's, and they were talking about their courgette plants, and we're like, "What is that? This sounds so interesting." And so they went and plucked some, and we're like, "Oh, that's zucchinis." So it's fun having differences. I like learning new things, and I think it's really exciting that the similar that we have the same things here as in the States, but different words or different meanings, and I think it's kind of cool. One is bell pepper. We went to Subway, probably within the first 2 weeks that we were here, and I was making my sandwich and ordering what I wanted on it, and it said bell pepper because I had the green bell peppers, and the guy looked at me like I was speaking alien tongue. He had no idea what I was talking about, and it turns out they call them capsicums here, and I had never heard that terminology in my life before, so I thought that was interesting. Another one is at the grocery stores, you can buy yellow mustard, but they don't call it that. They call it American mustard. So on the label, it says American mustard. It's pretty funny. And most people don't actually like it here. They think it's really mild. They're really into the brown mustards or the really spicy mustards. They like kind of like the Grey Poupon, just like kind of like the fancier mustards in the States, but that's what's regular to them here. Another different word is sweet potato. They don't call them that here, they call them kumara, which I thought that was cool. We go to some local veggie stands, and they have, signs for all the vegetables and fruits that they're selling, and the one of them always said kumara, and I'm like, "What is that?" But they look like sweet potatoes, and eventually somebody we were talking to were like, "Oh, yeah, that's just a sweet potato," but they call it the Maori word here, so I thought that was interesting. Another one is the convenience stores are called dairies here. Convenience stores, none of them are like 7-Eleven or Plaid Pantry or anything. They all just call them dairy or going to the dairy, and I thought that was interesting. It's full of the same stuff like chips, cookies, sodas, juice, lollies, all that kind of stuff. But they just call them dairies. I thought that was cute. And I think the last one I'm going to talk about today is they pronounce garage different. They say garage, and it was really hard to understand what they were saying, like, because people here talk really fast, and they use a lot of slang words also, so and their accent is different, so you got the slang words, different accent, talking incredibly fast, and then they pronounce things a little bit different too. It's sometimes it can be very hard to understand what people are saying here, but just ask them, and they'll slow down, or they'll describe the word. Like, they were saying garage so fast with their accent, I had no idea what they were saying. So definitely just take the time to say, "Hey, I didn't quite understand what that word was. Can you describe it to me or say it's a little bit slower?" And they're totally fine about that. They understand because there's a lot of immigrants here. So from all over the world, a lot of Asians are here, a lot of in the States, from everywhere. A lot of Africans also, which I think is pretty cool. It's South Africans. And yeah, so they're definitely patient. You just have to let them know and ask. Otherwise, they'll just keep talking a million words a minute and you'll be left in the dust. So, those are just some of the differences I've noticed. I'll definitely be making more of these videos as I learn more and experience more. And I'm going to be starting school here in about a month, so I'm sure there'll be tons of differences between the schools in the States and here in New Zealand. One of them that I know about already is that they do semesters instead of terms or trimesters. So you have the same class for a lot longer here than in the States, which I'm kind of excited about because, in the States, they go through classes so fast. It's like a new subject every single day. And if you miss one day because you're sick, you're really behind. So I'm thinking that it won't be like that here, but You never know. Maybe they still go as fast, but you just learn more. Not quite sure. So there'll definitely be a video coming out about the differences between the colleges here in the States. And so that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was pretty fun to make. Again, I'm sorry I'm so nervous talking in front of the camera. Second video, so still easing into it. It seems really weird just like looking into one spot and not being able to really see what I'm doing. So anyways, I hope this was fun to watch and I hope you learned something. Anyways, have a good day. See you later. Bye.